Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Temple of the Living God here in St. Petersburg, Florida. How are you doing? Amen and amen. It's good to see everyone, and some of you in costume. I'm sorry you folks out in TV land don't get to see all this joy that I get to see, but maybe you come down and visit us sometime, and you can see it too. Hey, we're going to start this service with some special music. If you look at your program, it just says special music, because I didn't want to ruin the surprise. So, William, when you're ready. People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Love, it seems wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven when you're down, when you're strange. Faces come out in the rain when you're strange. No one remembers your name when you're strange, when you're strange, when you're strange. People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Love, it seems wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven when you're down, when you're strange. Faces come out in the rain when you're strange. No one remembers your name when you're strange, when you're strange, when you're strange. When you're strange, your faces come out in the rain. When you're strange, no one remembers your name. When you're strange, when you're strange, when you're strange. Thanks, y'all.
Please refer to your Sunday program for events and sign up in the lobby for classes. And that includes our announcements. Today, we have Lynne Forrest as our guest speaker. The topic that she will be speaking on is living your future now. I can't wait for that. Living your future now. I'm sure there's a bunch of wonderful bits of information that we can glean from that. My divine reading for today comes from Unity, Daily Word. I live in the divine flow of love and life. Today I claim my divine birthright. I am a child of God, immersed in the energy of light, love, and joy, regardless of any outer appearances. I know that all things are working together for the highest good. I have faith that divine love supports and sustains me in all circumstances. As I relax, accept my blessings, I freely move forward, even greater good. I have faith in God's great love for me. In deepest gratitude, I realize that God's love is unconditional, freely given, freely experienced. Love spills over into all areas of my life. What a joy it is to live in the divine flow of life and love. Let anyone who thirsts come to me. Let the one who believes in me drink. As the scripture has said, out of believers' hearts shall flow rivers of living water. John 7:37-38. And so it is. Now we'll have wonderful music.
Hello again. So I wanted to make a couple of quick statements here. First, for tomorrow, if you're interested in the rehearsal for the talent show, that starts at 6 o'clock. And if you have tracks to sing along with, make sure you're here at 6 because those will go first. Another announcement I wanted to say is I wanted to say thank you to our lovely Carmen, who couldn't be here today, but before she left town, she made sure to decorate the stage ever so lovingly for our holiday celebration. And lastly, I just wanted to tell you, recently we got this new keyboard here, and a couple weeks ago, William and I were working on this show and found a bunch of new sounds we'd never heard before. William, give him an example of what we found. A little Phantom of the Opera action going on here. Does that sound familiar to you? How about another one? Hallelujah, hallelujah. This thing makes all sorts of noises. You'll be surprised. Under the sea, right? Right? It does everything. What else can it do? A banjo. Do you guys recognize that sound? It's a banjo. I feel like I need to get a little more comfortable for this. Why are there so many songs about rainbows? And what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. And rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and we. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on the morning star? Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it. Look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? And what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and we. All of us under its spell, we know that it's probably magic. Have you been half asleep, or have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that calls the young sailors? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. La 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 dee da da dum. La da 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 la dee da.
Oh my word, I don't need to say a thing. There was so much now going on here. Did y'all see like the now moment of pulling that ace of diamonds, right? And do you realize that what we did right before that happened, that current came through, so that he was able to pull that card up, was we enunciated, we said, force was mentioned, I paralleled force with source, the force of source, bam, there it is, here it is. Thank you for being our demonstration today. I love that. The now and the future. Whoops, where do I need to be here? Is it good? Yeah, so when I started thinking about it, I started visualizing this orb made of consciousness, which is the field of quantum consciousness. It's the field of consciousness. We're going to put it outside of us as if it can possibly be put outside of us, but just for visual purposes. To visualize a sphere of consciousness. And consciousness, when we're really conscious, we're here now. And we have these plugs that help us plug into being here now. Our visual, our sensory, we smell it, we feel it, we hear it, we touch it, and that's how we know we're here now. That's how we separate that from the impossible, non-existent place of the past. Because there's no here and now. You can't live it in this right now. So let's just say this is a sphere of consciousness, and the other word for consciousness is the imagination, the creative imagination. That's what consciousness. We're just constantly creating out of this consciousness that is always available for us. And we assign portals because really the past and the future don't exist, right? They're just concepts. What does exist is the now that contains it. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to go over here in the past. And as I was putting this together, guys, I started doing these notes and sort of, scribbling and looking at, okay, so if this were the imagination, and I put the past still in the imagination, but it's a memory of what has been. I thought about the pattern on the trestle board, which is from the BODA, the Builders of the Adida Mystery School, which is a place that I was a member of for many, many years. And there's 11 statements that go with the tree of life, and that this may be familiar language to you or not, but these are to talk about they are the statements that really sort of explain the creation of the world, how we create the world, how we are. And the very first thing it says is all the power, the very first statement, all the power that ever was or ever will be is here now. It's the very first principle. It's all here. And when we tap into the past, very often what we do is we tap into it through our memories of trauma or negative things that happened to us that we don't want to happen to us again. We're like, stay on the lookout for that. And so we relive, we kind of regurgitate the energy of remembering. And what we do is we bring that past into the now with the senses. We begin to even smell it. We begin to see it. We begin to hear it. We begin to smell it. We relive it. And in that way, we bring it to life in the now. This is why it is we keep repeating our past. We just keep regurgitating the energy, the creative imagination of the past. We've decided, okay, that's the past. That's the future. Hasn't happened yet. It's a projection of the memory, the consciousness, the creative imagination. Now I'm going to propel it, project it into this, it doesn't exist. It's an illusion of a place. But I've assigned it a space in my mind because all there really is now, right? Can you all see this, what I'm talking about here? And this is what we do. This is how we create our world. And there's no mistake to the world you're living in. But the question we get to ask is how much of where I'm living is a projection of a future, therefore I'm in a space that is powerless. Until I begin to give it sensation. When I begin to feel it, touch it, smell it, you can do that in those places. Then what I do is I bring it to life. I bring it back. Right? So the second statement I want to say, just these two, pattern on the trestle board, you can Google it or, ask me. I've got copies. I think I brought a couple copies. We can make you copies. Of the second statement is, so the first one, all the power. Now that word power, hear that? Here it is again, the force of source, lining up with that is what, and we do that through our senses. That's our plug-in. The body is what we plug into this now of creative imagination, energy that we have access to, right? And we do it through, and so because when we can feel it, when we can actually feel the feelings of what it is to be back there in that past, have you ever relived a memory so palpably that you could hear the sounds, you could smell the smells of the space, you're reliving this hard thing. What you're doing is you're bringing the past into the now. You're now having that again. And it's really helpful to know that this is what happens. This is what the human mind automatically does, right? And so when we go back to the past, we tap into things like our expectations of what it should have been, right? We tap into trauma, past trauma, where we viscerally feel it. We move and we feel again the trauma of childhood trauma, and fear. Fear is the separation from the now. So whenever I get into this invisible place where I'm using my creative imagination, I'm going back there and reliving these things, and what I develop out of that, what I live on the ground in my now, is defense strategies that would be needed if that were my experience now. Right? So now I'm walking around in defense strategies of something that's happened in the past that I'm reliving in my mind, and I'm acting in ways that actually bring it from the future. Do you follow me here?
Yes.
Potent, huh? Yeah. Don't do that. No, if you do that, make it conscious. Because there is a purpose. Everything has a purpose. And to be able to consciously choose, I'm going to go back into the past and see what I learned from it. Because I'm going to use that information to shape where I want to go. Right? The second statement, I didn't tell you, did I? All the power that ever was or will be is here now, and I am a center of expression for that power force, for that primal will to good. It's always good for us. So that will to good, right? And so I am. It starts out with I am. Anything. I am is the universal mantra for manifestation. Because anything that follows I am is what you're empowering. That's what you're feeding. So be careful with your I am. I am tired. I am sick. I am. All the I ams, again, aware of. That's potent language. But notice that it's potent because it is in the now. It's not I was or I will be. Those don't exist. They don't have much power. But I am. I am right here, right now. I am. Yeah, that's potent. That's potent. And again, this is how we create it. So if you begin to use your past from a standpoint of, it happened for me, here's what I learned from it, here's how it's working for me. You see, what you're doing is the process of alchemy. You're changing up that illusionary energy and turning it into now. Right? And yeah, I'm just sort of blown away this morning about all the ways that I've watched us in community this morning come into the now. Hands up. Healing. Feeling that energy. I'm imagining that it's potent and that I'm aligning my sensations with it, my sensory system, right? And that is empowering it. And so in this moment, you better believe that there is potent stuff coming through those hands. Because I am that. I'm a center of expression for that primal will to good. And it is potent. There's nothing stronger. And you know what it's made of? It's made of pure consciousness. And do you know what pure consciousness feels like? Only, always, love. That's how pure consciousness feels. And so, when you get in the future, and we go into fear with the future too, we could do that kind of thing where we, well, what if? What if that happens? Or what if this doesn't happen? Or what if nothing happens? Or, So again, we're in the fear place. And what we're doing is, and we start feeling it. We start feeling like as if it's already, that's it. Guess what I've done? I've brought my future into the now. I've empowered it. And if I want to, what I can be doing, is to ask myself, I can say, well, what do I want to creatively imagine into my life? Well, yeah, how would I like it to be? Good question. These are the questions we want to ask ourselves. And if it were the way I would like it, like right now, just take a minute and think of something you desire. And I'm not necessarily talking about a material thing, but a place you would like to be in your mind, or in place of the way you feel about something, or something that you want to experience in your life, a desire. Just think of one. And now just take 30 seconds to close your mind and imagine it happening. Imagine you already have it. Imagine you feeling the feeling that goes with having it. Imagine what your thoughts are. You have it. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Where do you feel it in your body? Where do you see yourself standing in that moment? In this moment. Oh, this moment. And this is how you co-create. You partner up with all that power that pulls aces out of the card deck, right? That power, aligning with that. This is what we have available to us. This is how we remember who we are, because who we are is co-creators. And this is how we co-create. We have a world of creative imagination. With every breath you take, you're breathing it in. Every time you release, you're letting go of the past that does not exist. And what you've done with that past is you've gone back there, you've looked at it closely, you recognized what it did, and you imagine how you would like it to be. What if? And then you take it to the future. And where would I like this to go? So we begin to ask ourselves these questions. So when we are tapping into the future, rather than tapping into the what if and the fears that go with that, We tap into the way we want it to be. And so what we want to do with these spots on the sphere of creative imagination, of consciousness, and now put us right in the center of it. And all around you. All around you. You know, the idea is that I'm just waving my hand through empty space. That is so not true. How could it keep me alive if it were just empty, dead space? Every breath brings me consciousness. Every breath is that which we're made of. That is who we are. We are that power that comes in with the breath. And what we get to do is, if we want to, is focus it. Is decide, where do I want to direct that energy? Because it's like holding a hose, you know, like you're watering your plants at home, right? And you want to water this here, not these weeds over here, you know. But you've been watering them inadvertently, and they're growing like crazy. And you're wanting to feed, instead of trying to beat the weeds back, fill up a field with daisies and water it, you know, and decide you want to create that. See it in your mind, feed it. Plants are very responsive to dialogue. I mean, I've studied this for years in my own backyard, you know. I've noticed that the plants that I give attention to do well. The ones that I bring into the moment, what does that mean? It means I take the time to stop, look at that daisy and go, oh, aren't you beautiful? You know, I just love this. I love it that I'm going to get to, you know, pick a little bouquet of you this morning and smell you, and or not. You know, there's no right or wrong here. You know, the should that wants to kick in and control our imagination. There is abundance. There's plenty of everything, because consciousness is endless. You cannot, it's infinite. It's eternal. It's forever. It's never-ending supply of consciousness. And when you leave this dimension of consciousness, you will continue on in another. The consciousness, you're still following, or consciousness is still. So breath, that's how we plug in. That's how we plug into the supreme power. So line up. This is one of the reasons why breath work is such an important part of my own practice. Because every morning I want to line up through my breath to the Creator Source and ask to be shown things like what I just shared with you, which is a sharing that came to me when I chose this topic, when I was given the choice. And the thought I had was, I'm the last speaker of the month, and there's only so many ways you can be in the now, right? I'm like, but there's something here that is. And then I was given that whole sphere diagram and shown where the future is on that. Where they're just little spots that we've created so that we can both connect with where we've been in the past and transform it into where we're going, and then live it now through the senses. And when you do that, you plant your future in your now, and immediately, I am that. Thank you guys very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lynne. For me, I take away the remembering I am. That divine essence, that divine spark. Thank you for that. Now it's time for our ushers to come forward, if you will, for the tithe and offering. Infinite radiant source of life, we give thanks for all that is given, for it helps this ministry to move beyond this moment It is substance, it is love, and it is caring for this community. We give thanks for all that is given with loving hearts, and so it is. Amen. For everybody who has joined us online, I would like to take this time to give you an opportunity to also support this ministry. If you log onto our website, TLG Temple, that's TLGTEMPLE.org, you will have a website come up, and on that website, halfway down on the front page, is a donate button. Please hit that donate button and support our many needs here at the temple. We thank you in advance for your blessings and your support. Thank you. And now we'll have music.
Is that me? There I am. Do you need words?
Yeah, can you put this up here? Sorry, spoiler alert. I got nothing to do with that. Right? Okay. Let's do it. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. William Bryant, everyone. Give him a hand. He's done a wonderful job today. But wait, there's more.
I was working in my lab late one night when my eye beheld an eerie sight. My monster from a slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the mash. He did the monster mash.
The monster mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
He did the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
The monster mash.
He did the monster mash.
Wow.
From my laboratory in the castle east to master bedroom where the vampires feast. The ghouls all came from their humble abodes to get a jolt from my electrodes.
The mash.
They did the monster mash.
The monster mash.
It was a graveyard
They
smash.
did the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
They did the mash.
They did the monster mash.
Wow.
The zombies were having fun.
Tennis shoe.
The party had just begun.
Tennis shoe.
The guest band included Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. The scene was rocking, all the gigging sounds. Igor on chains, backed by his bang hound. The coffin bangers were about to arrive with their vocal group, the Crypt Kicker Five.
It's now the mash.
They played the monster mash.
The monster mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
It's now the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
It's now the mash.
They played the monster mash.
Wow.
Out from his coffin, Drax's voice did ring. Seems he was troubled by just one thing. He opened his lid and shook his fist and said, "Whatever happened to our Transylvania twist?"
The mash.
It's now the monster mash.
The monster mash.
And it's a graveyard smash.
It's now the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
The monster mash.
It's now the monster mash.
Wow.
Now everything's cool. Drax's part of the band.
Wow.
And my monster mash is the hit of the land.
Wow.
For you, the living, the mash was meant to. When you get to my door, tell them Forrest sent you.
Then you can mash.
Then you can monster mash.
The monster mash.
And do my graveyard smash.
Then you can mash.
You'll catch on in a flash.
The monster mash.
Then you can monster mash.
Wow.
Wow. Mash good. You can mash. Everybody, the monster mash.
Hey everyone, thanks for coming out this happy Sunday, this Halloween Sunday. I want to let you guys know, just in case you're not aware, Central Avenue is blocked from 31st all the way up, I think, to 15th. And there's a Central Avenue Halloween festival going on now from noon to 5 p.m. There's plenty of families and food and activities out there. So if you've got nothing to do after the Metaphysical Forum, that is, with Madam Zelenka, please go out on Central Avenue and maybe you'll see some of your friends out there. Happy Sunday. I hope you had fun. Bye, YouTube. We'll see you next time.